Gareth Southgate came in as England manager in 2016 after I believe that was the Euros in 2016.
Mm.
Then he took them to the World Cup in 2018, got to the semis, got beat by Croatia, extra time goal, took them to Euro 2000, the COVID Euros in England, almost won, lost on penalties, took them to the last World Cup in Qatar, could have gotten to the final if the reliable Kane did not decide to aim for the birds instead of the goal. So they were like one penalty away from tying that game, and who knows what could have happened. So looking at his achievements, the the criticism he sometimes gets is for his pragmatic style of play and the idea that this England team is made up of what you call a dream generation. Is this really a dream generation? Let's start that and then go into Southgate. And is the criticism on Southgate fair, premature, overblown?
All right. So in regards to this is the dream or golden generation, I would sort of agree that it is a golden generation because you see historically England have never really had balanced teams, and the Gerrard, Scholes, Lampard era, their teams were never really balanced. But this generation, there's more balance, and you also see that the level of technicality within the players, like like a player like Foden, Bellingham, Sancho, even though he's not in the team right now, Rashford, like the level of technicality does not usually synonymous with England is right there. So I think this can count as a golden generation. I do feel like there's still a little bit of like decline in like the type of players they produce, even though like some departments have gone up. But England usually have like a lot of good strikers. They had Kane. I mean, they had Rooney, Owen, all of that. But now, if you think about it, like if Kane is retiring now, do you think England have anybody that can replace him? I personally don't feel so. So
No,
that
not at the
that
moment.
also plays a part into it. On in regards to like criticism Southgate has faced or is currently facing, I think it's a mixture of both like fair and overblown, right? I think it's fair because like this he set a good example per se. Like he took them, like you mentioned, he took them to the semifinals. He took them to the finals of the Euros tournament. So the threshold is high, the expectations is high. So it's fair for you to have criticism if you see that they're not meeting expectations early on. I do think it's overblown because first off, they're top of the group. They're obviously gonna qualify, and he's generally played pragmatic football, and like I think people fail to understand that tournament football is different from league football. So the way you have to set up and play in tournament football and the things that you have to try are different. And he has a very good understanding of that, which is why you see that he's taking England far into certain tournaments. So we can't really criticize his pragmatic style if it's worked for him. I will say though that uh, I understand that a lot of people are not really messing with the tinkering, like Trent in midfield and Foden over here, and
Foden
just
at a left wing instead of right
at the left
wing.
wing, just the right wing. A lot of people are not really messing with it, but you have to understand, like you said, they're lacking the player. I don't understand the outrage people had when he said they're lacking the player in the mode of Calvin Phillips, right? Because technically, he wasn't talking about Calvin Phillips. He's talking about the profile that he represents. Someone to properly complement
Rice.
Rice. And so you could tell that he's working on it, which is why he's playing Trent in that position. And he's going to think the group stages are the time to tinker and try what you want to do, especially if you already have points and you feel like you're going to go forward. So he's trying all of that, and then he's going to move forward. I'm sure by the time he gets to the knockout stages, he will know what he wants to do.
which team is looking like a dark horse? This is our
Austria,
last.
Austria, Austria,
Yeah,
Austria.
you read my mind.
4-2-2-2-2-2-2-2-2-2-2.
You're reading my mind.
Austria, because man, sometimes in football it goes beyond talent. What those guys have is that extra desire to get to the ball.
You're pressing.
Every single player has an extra desire to win the ball back. And I think that would take them, it might push them to the quarterfinals just because it's just the effort to get to the ball before anyone. They're
So
fighting for each other real good.
Yeah, very good
Yeah.
teamwork ethic there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brian, I think you were going to say the same thing.
yeah, I agree with you. So before this tournament started, I had Austria as my dark horse because I um like I've watched a lot of their games. Like Ranich is a
Mm,
good coach, and there's a reason why he's called the father of German football. Like the
mm,
theories and the
mm.
pressing, because their pressing and their counter press is ridiculous.
It
To
is.
me, he's one of the three best coaches in the tournament, right? So I've got Spalletti, and I've got Nagelsmann and Ranich because their teams you can see the identity and you can see like the way they play. So the pressing Austria have is ridiculous, and I've had them as the dark horses. I actually before the tournament started, I told my friends that because we did a chart of how we expect the groups to, you
Go.
know, go. And I think I told my friend that I believe that Austria would knock England out if they meet England, because he thinks England is going to win it all. I told him if they meet England, they would knock England out, you know. But Austria is my dark pick, my dark horse pick. I had them before the tournament, and after the tournament started, I added like two more teams. Actually, I had Austria and Denmark as my dark horse pick before the tournament started. Denmark, I'm not so confident more on
Mhm.
after the first couple of games, and Turkey, I had Turkey as a dark horse as well, but like I said, not so much
I
after.
can see that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh, I would say I'm still kind of a little bit confident in Denmark. Because I think I agree. Austria look like the best small team in this tournament. They look the best organized, the best
Mm.
in, sometimes it's not about the best players, as
Yeah.
Cruyff said, but the best team. And they look like a team that is the sum of the players is greater than the sum of the individual
Yeah.
parts. Together,
Greece
they look
2004. Greece
exactly like a Greece
2004.
2004, where they can do something, they can hurt
Yeah.
someone.
Yeah.
And this tournament is looking like a tournament where it's the luck of the draw. I haven't actually
The
studied the
bracket.
draw, the brackets after actually, I think I'll look at it more after this. But where each team goes and who they play next determines what happens. Um, if Denmark get into the weaker side of the draw, where and then one other big team knocks each other out, Denmark gets a favorable team that complements the way they play. Because
They
Denmark too
play.
is a
That's true.
team that you can see the way they pressed England. They made it. People were saying England didn't play well. No, Denmark made them not play well. People were not trying to give Denmark the credit because
Credit. Yeah.
they pressed England so badly. Like what's it called? Declan Rice was looking like jollof rice. The guy was that was
Basmati rice.
yeah,
Definitely.
like real basmati rice, like something that was bought from one mama put on the corner, not 100 million pounds. And Declan Rice is a good player, don't get me wrong, but he
Yeah.
looked so poor that day. And then, of course, everybody was blaming Trent. But then I saw a video of the compilation. I didn't even notice how bad it was until I saw that video. Oh my God, this guy was terrible. Declan Rice
He
was
was giving the ball
poor.
away, man.
He was in the wrong place at the wrong. He always at the
I
wrong
will tell
place.
you, it's not his fault. It's because of who his partner in midfield is. That's all I
No,
can.
yeah, I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm not necessarily saying it's his fault, but I'm saying that it was the way Denmark played because he had
Yeah.
to cover
Credit to
so much
Denmark.
ground. Yeah, he had to cover. And then what's his name? The guy that has the same name, the guy that scored, the guy that has a name like Hoylund. Is it Hamulond or something?
Oh,
The guy that
human. Human. He
scored.
plays for Sporting. Yeah.
Yeah,
multi-human.
Dude, that guy. I won't be surprised that guy goes to a big team after this tournament.